All right, today, out of snacks. Today, we're here to talk about party finder. I couldn't get that out. Party finder and statics and what the difference is, benefit, negatives, the beauty and the beast. I don't know. But we're here to talk about that today because I've had experience in both of these fields of party finder and static. And people like to hide a line and say party finder is terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. It has its moments, but party finder helps build skills that you probably don't even think about. Let's talk about it. We'll start off the bat since we're already talking about skills. Something that you can build from Party Finder that you can't build from a static is learning how to adjust, learning how to be flexible, learning how to do mechanics in a different way. And I say that because in statics, whenever you do light parties, whenever you do clock spots, whenever you do a mechanic, it's going to be a very straightforward, repetitive way that you and your party has decided to do it. You're going to do it that way, but when you clear, you're going to do that way when you re-clear, and you're going to continue to do it that way until the next tier comes out. So you never really learn a different way to do a mechanic. But in Party Finder, the thing about Party Finder is that every party that you go into will be a brand new experience. It'll be a new adventure, a new way to enjoy the tier, a new way to enjoy the savage, because your healer may not heal in time. Your tank might forget to mitt intentionally. You might be in a different light party every single party. You may be in a different spread position every single time that you enter a fight because it's always a new spot. So at Party Finder, you'll learn the abilities to adjust, adapt, and improve your way of thinking on the clock. Where in Savage, where in the static, you're going to be learning muscle memory. Hardcore whole car. That's not even a thing. Hardcore muscle memory. You're going to be improving in a way that you're going to be able to do the mechanic without even thinking. Like when I raid with my static, I listen to sound cues for most of my mechanics. At some point, I don't look at the boss anymore, and I'm fully focused on where I am on the map. like what's happening around me does not matter because I'm just looking at the cast bar and I'm just listening to sound cues. And that's what static can teach you, is really strong muscle memory for fights that you just know the motion. The next thing is, how do you want to experience a tier? Doing it in Party Finder and doing it in static completely do two different things. If you want to really immerse yourself and enjoy the tier as it is without having any spoilers, you need a static. Unless you're week one progging. Because after week one prog, everybody in Party Finder will demand that you have watched the video. Because if you come into this bad boy blind, your blind self gonna be right back out that door. But it's highly, highly recommended in Party Finder that you watch a video, that you know something of the fight, because the goal is that we've seen the fight, now we just need to get through it. Where in statics, you can do it blind. You can watch mechanics. You can go ahead and pre-watch the video. You can talk about the mechanics. You can adjust the mechanics to the style of your static. You can modify it in a way that works for how you want to work. Where in the Party Finder, at some point, it's just going to be 2 or 3 strats, and you're just going to have to know how to do that, or people are going to be disappointed. Especially if it's a clear party. I don't know if this is an unwritten rule, but after 3 wipes, somebody dips. Like that, people do not three wipes and I'm out. I don't know when that happened, but that's a thing in Party Finder. So the ability to be able to enjoy and immerse yourself in the tier is not as flexible in a Party Finder as it is in static. The third thing that and personally, this kind of makes me enjoy Party Finder more than static, kind of actually, is that you can flex any job that you are interested in outside of your role. So say, because in the static, if you come in as a tank or if you come in as a melee, like that is your role for the tier, unless you can convince enough people to switch their roles around. The static has a very defined system that, this is what we came to do here. We are who we are. You can change your job within that role, but we all kind of locked in what we're going to be for this tier. And if you're a person who kind of are like me sometimes and like to bounce around to different things, Party Finder is going to be a way to go. And static, that will cause complication, stress, and unneeded dissatisfaction because you're already trying to prog. But in Party Finder, you can go in as a tank one try it out, see if you like it. Go in as a melee DPS, go in as a range DPS, or maybe you just want to heal, and you can cycle through that. So that way the fight feels new and fresh whenever you want it to be. rather than in static, it's gonna be a very straightforward. The most important thing, and this one is something that I've had to come to realize. This step is probably gonna speak to a lot of people, and this is probably the most important difference between the two is that it's the time commitment. People don't realize that statics require quite a bit of time commitment, depending on what kind of static you're into. Most statics are at least gonna rate 2 days a week. Some are gonna rate 3, some are gonna rate 4. The hardcore ones who's like week 1 prize are gonna rate 5 days a week. They're gonna try to push it, try to get it done. We talking about 12 hours of rating. On top of that, static rating can range from 3 to as many hours as y'all agree to do. And if you're in a static, have to make sure that you are being very conscious of people's time, because you have 7 other people who are committing their day, who are taking time out their day to make sure that they're doing this thing that y'all agreed on. It's kind of like a part-time job when you think about it, but you're not getting paid. You're stressed. Kind of sounds like my full-time job. So if you have a lot on your plate, you know, if you got just a lot going on, statics is using your thing. You know, Party Finder is the way to go. You can prog how you want. You can prog at a pace that's important to you. You can prog at a pace that works for you. You can prog on a Tuesday, prog on a Thursday. You can choose when to prog, how to prog, and what's convenient for you. And people say, you know, it's hard to prog in a Party Finder, and prog means, you know, make progress, clear thing. I get that, but there are people this tier that has beat some of these savage fights that I haven't completed yet in a static and have prog way farther than I have. So do not let Party Finder discourage you. If you're like, I don't have a static group, that doesn't matter. Be cool whether you're in a Party Finder or you're in a static, and just enjoy the process. Each process is a little different. Each process brings its own joys and all its own stresses, but both of them have one beautiful benefit, and that's you can make wonderful friends. I have made great friends in my static. We're like a little mini family, but also the people who are in my static now, we found them through Party Finders. Like we realized how cool they were, asked them to come and join our static, and that's how things happen. So if you're stressed about if I need to do a Party Finder next tier or this tier, if I need to do a static next tier, this tier, just do whatever's convenient. You can clear the tier however you like, but know that one isn't necessarily better than the other. They all bring different benefits. They all are wonderful for each other. Just don't flame because you'll be surprised in the static. People flame. You think it's just Party Finder, but no. I've heard stories about static. Feel free to share yours in the comments below because I know there's some wild stories out there. And as always, if you like these discussion conversational videos, think about hitting the subscribe button because I love dropping Final Fantasy content, and I will catch y'all in the next video. You know, I don't like holding y'all up. So y'all have a great week, and I'm going to go find more snacks.